Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity to practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now so welcome back to Reframe Master Podcast. My name is Colin Brooks. And basically now this episode is going to talk about having children or a child. Because I'm reaching that age, we're not in school then we're not in Kansas anymore or such like that. And more, while I hate the idea, not hate it, but oh my God, just the thought of just doing that is a drug. But you never know what life's gonna throw at you. So you have to talk about it now so that I can just give my thoughts on the idea of it now, so that I can mentally start prepare for when, cause eventually it might happen. Because in my thought of it is that I've reached this far, so one of the next progress would be it's because everywhere I go, people are talking about they try to peer pressure me to have a girlfriend or something like that. What and my thing is that I'm not financially stable yet, and I'm just picking up this baggage. I have to pick up another person's baggage, so that's the thing I'm trying to explain, but people don't see the vision. The societal norm is just so brainwashing to them that they rather be poor with someone than work to self-actualize. So that's my initial thoughts on that. But eventually, as I self-actualize in that, as I reach more towards the goal or aspiration and dream that I have for myself, over time, on my journey from then until now, and going forward, I will also meet various women that I've loved, liked, lost, and on this journey you too will meet them, and when you lose them, it will be heartbreaks, bro. I've passed upon so many girls that I was like, damn, bro, I would die for. The younger me would die for that girl, and that the person, the me that meet them would still die for it, and me now would maybe die for that girl. But we have to keep our heart strong for the goals that we have in life, But what happens is that eventually on your journey, one of the main thing, if you have listened to the podcast, one of the main idea of what I'm trying to say is that on your journey you want to find somebody that's compatible with you. So right now there are two versions of me. So you have the me that say, okay, I want to find someone that's compatible with me. So think about, and then marriage, because marriage is more stable, and the brain of a child is more stable and lead to more fruitful life for the next generation. And then there's the me that I've met so many beautiful women and be like, oh my gosh, I would love to be with all of them. So it's so I guess as a male, for our male audience, and I guess for the female audience, you're getting a mind view of the mind of me. So that's basically the two me's now. So on each day it can be switch and whatnot. We're switching that. And I will see the person that I would like ideally to settle down with. Like right now, there's one person, if I had the chance to actually sit down and have a nice, stable time to actually get to know them and see if they're a good person, I can see myself settling down and go the next stage with them. While also on my journey, getting more successful and achieve my goals. Achieving your goals builds up your confidence, and then women around you as a male start to see your progress and be like, I want to really get to know this person. So that's another motivation for you to actually go towards a goal. You don't really have to be a bad boy and all these things. Look at Bill Gates. Bill Gates was just big chilling, doing his nerd stuff, become the youngest billionaire, and get Melinda Gates, and doing his thing, and meanwhile being one of the richest men in the world. And that's him doing his thing. So you don't really have to be a bad boy to really do that. Bad boy is a fast way to get it, and then fast and short lived. Fast and short lived. So the nerd way now, in the way where you just go after your goals, self-actualize into the person you want to be, is slow. It's slow. It includes a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of friend zones, and it's very uncertain in that at the end of the journey, you might die. You might be like, oh my gosh. At the end of the journey, it may not be worth it all, So, but it's I've reached as far to say, dog, some of those goals are worth it, bro. Are worth it more than a woman. Are worth it more than a woman. You see me? So that's the thing. But as you go and achieve certain goals, what happens is that, so the nerd way is basically like this now. When you're doing so like for example me doing science it is not really, you meet certain girls on there, but you might like them, might not, and such like that. But the ones that you really like aren't really interested in science. They view you as a nerd and whatnot. But what I mean is that as you rise up, something that I recommend is that try some extracurricular activities outside of sports or something to actually get your physical body up, because that's one of the good things basketball actually did for me. It gave me physical workouts that kind of build up my body so that when I actually reach university, I was pretty fit. So that's another tip for a person that's actually going through high school and whatnot. Join a sports to actually get some physical work in while doing something fun. But what happened is basically doing my science journey and then doing the sports thing, nothing really, I over time, what happened was I started being less of a nerd and more not bad looking to the woman around me. And then what happened when I get more into science, more women than males are in the science field. So there are more girls than boys in our science class and such like that. So what happened is a slow process, but as you rise up, you'll get more woman attention. But so the next thing I wanted to think about then is that you don't call in the chips too early. That's the next thing you have to think about. You don't want to. How I see it is that, as I said, on your journey, you have to self-actualize. So, looking back as Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have you need food, shelter, and clothing. Then you need something else, then something else, and then to check out Maslow's hierarchy of needs that on Google for you to really know exactly what I'm talking about. But after you go to high school and get a degree and such like that, going through school, more girls going and you go on and rise to your success, more girls are going to find you out. And what happened is basically interacting with those girls now, kind of see what you like and don't like, and it will change over time. As right now, I can definitely say what I don't like or what I do like, but what I can say now is that I'm better able to control my domain, where previous to, previous to then, when a girl talked to me, I would be like, oh my god, she's talking to me, and be like, she will be the more dominant person because I'm so flattered by the idea of a girl talking to me, you know. But more and more over time, when they enter into my space, I'm more able to control the domain, to be, you know, to control my, to show show them how ideally I would want to be and such like that. So that's one of the things in the slow grind. In the slow grind to sexual self actualization. The longer you go, the more you're able to build up your confidence to be able to be the man around the person and be yourself. That's the most important thing. Be the self that you want to be. Don't be not the girlies or the womanizer or something like that. Be the person that you want to be for yourself, and then you can let in a woman into your domain to experience that person, you know, to experience that person. So that's the next thing. But as I said, over time, I just start to self-actualize now. That you so the nerd way, so boom, science and stuff like that. Over time now, boom, you start to get societal stuff that that the societal praise. So for example, a car, a house, and another podcast I told you the plan and how I should reach this far. I don't have the car yet, but reach this far. But on this journey, I've reached this in I'm at this stage now where, you know, having a child is not something taboo, you know, anymore. It will be expected. That's it will be expected. It's like so. It's but what happened is me being a child and I've grown, reached this far. I've seen how I've grown, and to really get to bring someone into the life to really go through what I've gone through. Nah, isn't nah. So that's one of the next thing that I have to think about. You have to really look at your life and see how you have brought up and where you are, and then think about it. Think about bringing someone into your life to really go through what you go through. Would you really want them to really do that? Go through what you went through to get here? No. But maybe you're one of the person that still wants to have a child regardless. So what you have to do then is then think about your life then, and think about all the bad parts that you is not the idea of the child getting, not experiencing all the negative such sides of being as a child, because you know you can't escape that. But certain things that you hinder yourself, that hindered you, that prevented you from having a better child experience, if you could just get it before you bring a child into the world, increase that child's quality of life. For example, one of the things I would before I get a child is a car, because growing up I usually take buses and taxis because when my auntie left, my family never really had a car, so I had to take buses and taxis to school, and that's good and all, but it would be nice to have a car where you can take your person and go places without have to be taking taxi and such like that. You just in the private of your car, I can have a nice chat and thing as son and father and son or whatnot. So that's the idea. That's one thing that I would try to get before I bring someone else into the world to actually maybe increase their quality of life. So that's one thing I have to think about. Something that your childhood lock that ideally that you would like to get before you bring someone else into the world so that they can have a better quality of life than yours, and it will be more better for you because having it then with a mini you is like, it's like you're reliving your childhood, a better version of your childhood through them. So that's my imagination. Then now the next thing is the most important thing. Like you'll be asked to do a lot of things throughout life and whatnot, but the most important thing, I've accomplished a lot. I'm grateful I'm grateful for what I've accomplished and how far I reached. Really, I'm very grateful. But the most important thing I've realized is that the most important decision you will ever make as a male will be the woman you choose to be with. I'm telling you, the wrong woman will destroy you, bro. It will destroy you. You've seen the single mother, single mother, deadbeat dad syndrome, where basically a male and a female have sex, and the woman basically either the father ditch the mother because of that, so the single mother stuff, child support, all the money, what do you call it, domestic violation, false allegations, the wrong woman will really derail your life. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll see various examples of that throughout it. So, learn from you. The bad woman will. And if you're a woman that listen to this, you know the bad things that can happen. So you can just actually take it and say, okay, I won't. I try to be not that woman. Read the Bible, the Proverbs 35 woman, the Proverbs 31 woman. In the Bible, Proverbs 31 woman. So I guess you can read the Bible and try to become that lady. But the woman you choose is very important because she also will be a part of what helps to mold the child into who he becomes or she becomes in the future. So you have to really choose that woman carefully. And that's one of the things what I mentioned is that the self-actualization process of you is that when you have all these big dreams that you want to achieve, ideally, you would want to make all those dreams come true before you get the woman. And so ideally what I would say is that yes, they get the dreams come true. Then when you get the dreams come true, you will have something to lose. So the woman that are in your life will be maybe gold diggers, apex predators, people that in there to really take you down, not really bring that to the table. So that's when you actually have their dreams. That's one of the bad times when you have bad judgment of woman. So I can't really tell her the way to actually go and choose the woman because there's no perfect. I don't think there's a perfect answer. But one thing that I've realized is that if I've actualized my dreams, I think it's not me being in a better position to what you call it, be the leader in the relationship. But what happened is, regardless of what happened, my life has actualized. I'm living my dream. So if I bring in the woman now and the woman turns out to be someone that is actually against what I want, I've reached this far, so I can So the next part would of actualizing would be maintenance, trying to maintain that dream. So ideally, I would actualize them, try to maintain that dream. Then see in the maintenance, trying to maintain, make sure that their dream stays alive for a long time, for a good while. I will see those various women that actually stays and are really interested in my life, and they don't really have to be interested, but have they brings the opposite, the feminine, the feminine opposite to counter. It's like the nice compatibility to you. Because I don't really need to get someone that loves science or something like that. They can have their own dream. Because what what happens that when we come together, we click. We click. And while we may click, long term things can go wrong. So as I said, one of the things where I said ideally I would not want a child. One of the things that I wouldn't want it, because once I have it now, I when I leave school, one thing I realize, there are bad days, there are good days. There are days I don't feel up. There are days I feel down. So realizing that I have someone to basically take care of, so I basically every day have to be on my A game trying to raise this person. That's for basically 18 years. Yeah. ah, ah. And then if I have more than one, oh my god. So that's wild. That's actually wild. But it's exciting to think about it while actually, oh my god. So that's one of the reasons why self-actualizing, maybe getting very financially stable, not being poor, will be one of the great things. So that when you bring in a child, the financial aspect can be one of the things that you care least about, and then you have more quality time to spend with the person, because the more money you have, the more money you have, and the more stuff that you have, more you have actualized, more of your dreams that actually come to fruition and such like that. The more you have to actually do the other things that you love, which will be basically be like spending time with your child, or your child will grow up and see you living your dream, and then be inspired to actualize their dream, because their dream may not be the same as you. I'm not what my mother was or is. Then I have my own dreams, and maybe she have her own dreams, and such like that. So while I would try to help her in ways I can. After, I'm working on my own dreams as well, and also it's two in one. But growing up where my mother, where my mother is concerned and such like that, we never grew up rich. So she had to just do what she had to do to get me where I have to go. I reached this far, and I'm grateful for the journey. What I would change, ideally, for me, would be, ideally I would actualize myself and then bring in the person and such like. But I'm getting. It's one of those things that you can't really tell the formula on having a child. You can't tell the formula. I can see the vision. But and I can see the vision, but the thing about it is that the woman is the variable. Because you can't tell what the woman is. That I'm telling you, that feminine energy is so random, bro. She can be so good with you one day, and then next day. So it's one of those things that you can't really tell. That's why I always preach. Chase your dreams, bro. Chase your dreams. Chase the dreams. Chase the dream in the legal way. Get that money in the legal way to chase the dreams you can. Because that woman factor is a variable. I've lived through. if you listen to the podcast, you know the various troubles and trials and tribulations that I've gone through with woman. Man. You see, you have heard it, bro. You have heard it. So, woman is really that variable. Can't really tell. Can't really tell. But you, for some reason, you just have to love them, bro. You just can't not love them as a male. You just can't not love them. Oh my gosh. Uh, it's a living paradox. Woman, they're such a variable, but you just have to love them, bro. You just have to love them. And on my journey, my son's journey, I've seen more better quality woman than I would ever dreamed of. That's it actually interested in me. That's the wild thing. If that's the wild thing. That's what I'm telling you, bro. Chase your dreams. Chase your dreams. The woman are there. They're there waiting for you. They're there waiting for you. The only bad thing is you don't know which one the right one to choose. Cause you choose the wrong one. It's hard to recover. Yeah, man. So this is my initial having a child episode because this is the theoretical talk on it because I don't have a child yet. So I guess more if I do have one, I would have the more practical things to talk about, But over time, when I reach that, if you're in high school and university, don't think about that, bro. Have fun with the ladies. Have fun with the ladies. But don't think about having a child. Save sex, and all these things. Preferably no sex. Just enjoy the presence of the woman. Just enjoy the presence of the woman. But don't bring a child in high school and such like that, bro. You're really just throwing away your life. Maybe not it's not throwing away your life, but there's so much more that you would experience just going through primary school, high school, then university, and then thinking about having a child and actually having it before in between those time, Yeah. So the conclusion, the first draft of my conclusion is ideally I have a love hate with the idea now of having a child. I've reached the point where I see various women that I've passed through various phases of women that I've loved. And maybe now still have feelings for and such like that. But then the next thing is to get them to buy into the vision. That's the next phase. So the first phase now, I've seen the many various women that I love. The next thing now will be get my visions and my dreams alive, and then try to find one that buys into that vision. Maybe they have their dreams and aspirations as well that I can help them to actualize and such because it don't make sense that I have one that comes in and basically just sponsor off my dreams. It doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. She has to have her dreams as well because she's a human also. But if our vision mesh and then she buys into my vision and then I can see her vision and I like the idea of her vision and then two of us come together, then I said okay, yeah, because I reach this far now, I'm an unofficial homeowner. Yeah, so I have a shelter to accommodate a woman, so that's one of the things is I have a shelter now to accommodate a woman, so I've reached this far. So the next thing now to do is for me to gain the funds to actually can maintain a woman, But as I get more funds to actually maintain the woman, I can actually maintain and get my vision and dreams alive. Then I can start to choose see the woman that actually wants to buy the various women and what their dreams and aspirations, and say, oh yes. So back to what I was saying, that the two me's, there's still two me's. You have the me that's okay, looking for that right one to actually married and settle down, have a fruitful life with, and then you have the promiscuous me that see the many prospects and say yes, yes, I have the shelter now. It just be here. So as I say, it's an ongoing saga. It's an ongoing saga. It's an ongoing saga. So this is where we're at now, and you know, it's an ongoing saga. So thank you for listening to this episode. I guess this is a chat. This is a chat for the men, for the men. And the woman, you kind of state the opposite. You just state the opposite of what I've been saying. Take it in consideration and start doing some notes, just some notes about your dreams and aspirations, how you want to get your dreams alive, so that you can get your vision alive. Then you can have more ability to choose the man that you want to bring into your domain, instead of basically leeching off a man and such like that. You know, being independent enough that you can choose a person that you want to bring into your domain. Yeah, so that's the stereotypical independent woman that people want to be. You have to have your own. So that's why you have to have your own vision that and dreams that you have your want woman. Yeah, you have to have your dreams, have your own dreams, and say, okay, this is what I want for my life, and then how I am going to try and get it. And then when you go out and when you try and get it now, then on your journey now, you'll see the various meal that actually you'll find various meal on your journey, and then find your journey can say, oh yeah, I like this one, I can bring him along, and reach a certain place and say, oh, you're not coming this far, okay, I have to leave you. So that's the reverse version for the ladies. That's the reverse version for the ladies. So this is my thought on it now. You never know what will happen in the future. You can never tell. So this is my thoughts on it now. Thank you for listening. And this has been a very great conversation about having children. Very great. I could talk a lot more on it because I really get excited about this. I really get excited when I get into a topic. This was a very good topic to really get into. But all good episodes have to come to an end. So basically, this is it. And look forward for the next episode. Mm-hmm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
Talk about walking home from school, because that was a thing we usually do in primary school. One of those things, and it's wild because where I live, it was a very long walk. Like it's a long walk, and then when I usually do it with my friends, they usually reach home before their home is closer than my home. So basically, when they reach home, they would leave me, and then it would be like, one person reach home, leave me, and the next person reach their lane, and they go on, and then and eventually just me alone walking. So bro, that was the cheese. And